All right. Going to get live going. Just let everybody get on up in here. All right, just hang tight, man, and we'll bring you on. All right, let me see. What up, people? Going on, party people. Hey, now the wife she just finished doing her workout, so she just getting herself together. So we can go ahead on and break bread, chop it up. Oh, look at y'all just getting in for my 388 closing. Was that one of those crazy New York commercial things or reverse mortgage? What's going on, V? And members, I put the link in the on my community tab. I'm gonna try to send it out to some of the people. Some people had contacted me, but if I didn't, don't get a chance to send it to you directly. It's on my community tab. The link for y'all to join. Anybody who wants to come up, ask some questions, and all that good stuff. So right now I'm just doing it, letting the channel members hop on because I know they're not gonna be up here doing anything crazy. We used to do the live and let people just hop on, just general people, and that didn't turn out too good. You got some creepy people out here doing some creepy things and all of that. So just look on the community tab and you'll see the link to hop on live if you're a channel member. And because I'm sort of scrambling all over the place trying to get my space right for my wife because I just be jacking it up. I gotta clean up in here and everything. Oh, it was a refi with 2 notes, 3 more. Yeah, I've seen those before. I've seen those many, many times. Many, many times. Hey, babe. Let me just close that door. I got you some water. Just put it in here to keep it cold for you. Got a straw if you need it. Mm-hmm. Scoot over more. There you go. And there should be a long cord right here for you to plug up. That cord right there. You can just use that cord. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, gotta make sure she's up in here, y'all. So hold on. There we go. Love that new camera I got. Woohoo! Hey, y'all. Y'all can hear us okay? Let me know if y'all can hear us okay. So if y'all want to hop on, they got a couple person in the backstage now, but if y'all want to hop on and ask us some questions, the members, channel members, just look on the community tab, and you'll see the link if you're a channel member, and you can hop on. Okay, cool. Thanks, Caprentice. Hey, thanks, V. Y'all can hop on if come on live and ask some questions either to me or to her and all that good stuff. So greatly appreciate y'all as always. And what I wanted to do, I wanted to let y'all listen to something because we don't know what we're gonna talk about. We ain't gonna be up here. You saw that look she had. Like, why he got me here? Because I love you. That's why. So what I'm going to do is I got some short clips from John Maxwell, and I want y'all to just listen to them and everything. Now, y'all know I normally play it 2 times, but I'm gonna just play it once, and then to the next one, just come back and look at the video again. But listen to these from John Maxwell about leadership and everything. And just so you just give you you got to realize you got to be careful who you follow. And if you're not following the right people and they're not truly leaders, you can be in some trouble. So let me share this. And let me know if y'all can hear them. Y'all can't hear? Okay, why can't y'all? Okay, let me check something. Hold on. Okay. Oh man. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. Default mic. All right. Oh, I know what the deal is. Hold on. I know. Old age kicked in for a second there, y'all. All right. I got to hit the share the audio. There we go. All right. Back to the stage. All right. And back to the stage. All right. And back to the stage. Oh. All right. Too many devices, y'all.
You cannot give what you do not have. We teach what we know, but we reproduce who we are. What I know is this: the only way you can develop better people on your team is for you to get better. The only way you can raise the bar to a next level for the people that you care about and want so desperately to help is for you to raise your own bar. You cannot take people where you have not been. You cannot give what you do not have. We teach what we know, but we reproduce who we are. What I know is this: the only way you can develop better people on your team is for you to get better. The only way you can raise the bar to a next level for the people that you care about and want so desperately to help is for you to raise your own bar. You cannot take people where you have not been. You cannot. Who mentors you is as important as what they say. What they say will teach you, give you information. Who they are will change you. It's contagious. Because you see, when you're around big people, they make you feel bigger. And when you're around small people, they make you feel smaller. Who mentors you is as important as what they say. What they say will teach you, give you information. Who they are will change you. It's contagious. Because you see, when you're around big people, they make you feel bigger. And when you're around small people, they make you feel smaller. Who mentors? Leadership is visual, and so people do what people see. And because people do what people see, the best leadership that you can ever give them is visual leadership. You know, leadership is very clear when they can see you doing what you want them to do. Vision becomes very clear when they can see you enacting and producing that vision that you talk about. So many times I think we overemphasize what we say and we underemphasize what we show and what people can see. Show and tell is better than just tell. Leadership is vision. The things that I've learned the most came out of the hardest times. You see, I learned people skills by dealing with difficult people. You know, I didn't listen until a good friend told me that I didn't listen. I learned leadership when I realized nobody was following me. I learned about forgiveness when I had a day in my life that I looked across the table and I needed somebody to forgive me. I learned to ask questions when I ran out of answers. I learned to take myself not very seriously when I realized no one else did. I learned to embrace hard when I understood it was the only way to become a great leader. The things that I've learned the most. Success is a series of steps, not one giant leap. This is so corny, but it will work. If you were wanting to melt an ice cube and you move the temperature from 28 to 29 degrees, nothing happens. 29 to 30, nothing happens. 30 to 31, nothing happens. 31 to 32, something just happened. The ice starts to melt. Your work at 28 and 29 and 30 and 31 degrees, it wasn't wasted. It was stored. At 32 degrees, it all happens. But it doesn't happen because it just happened. It happens because I stored the work. You have to have stored work before your work shows up. There's a whole bunch of people want to show and tell, and they haven't stored. Success.
So, yeah, I'm sorry about the thing. I'm doing the double recording thing here, so it's a little processing thing. But that last one is what motivates me a whole lot, is because it's talking about basically work when you don't see really anything happening, but then all of a sudden it pops open for you. And too many times notaries are sitting out here, I'm not going to take that order. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that, because you want the big orders. You want the 60, 70 a month. You say you do, but you won't work the 10, 15 a month. You won't work the 2 or 3 a week. And you don't have anything stored up, which then gives you what? What's the best word? What's the way to say? It basically gives you some endurance. It gives you some experience. It gives you some know-how. It allows you and gives you a foundation for when things all of a sudden increase. So if things increase all of a sudden, you're ready for it. But a lot of you aren't ready for increase because you're not doing anything when things are quiet. When you have the opportunity to just go out and do an $80 order, $50 order, $100 order, you want more and more. You want to roll with the big boys, but you aren't really putting into work. And that's why I have a hard time when people talk about pay me my worth and they are not doing any work. And you taking all of these courses is not work. That's just you taking courses. That is not you actually doing the work. Going out there, doing the work, taking the orders, getting the feel for the flow is work. Anybody can take a course. Anybody can do training, but not everybody is willing to go out here and work. And that's where I think a lot of people are lacking. Also, if you're a channel member and you want to hop on and ask some questions, feel free to look at the community tab, and that's where the link is. So if you're a channel member, and you look on the community tab, and just so y'all can see, so when you're on the main page, you just hit community and you'll see the link. It's the first link that's in there for to hop on here, and you can come on and ask some questions. I'm doing it for letting the members come on because I know they ain't gonna be doing nothing crazy. If I put it out public, people might come up and act a little unsavory. So we're doing that. But also, if you're not a channel member, feel free to drop your questions in the chat, and both of us will answer them and all of that. So I'm gonna let my wife share whatever she wants to share for a little bit and all that good stuff. She looking like, Go ahead on and talk to the party people.
Good evening, everyone. What is it that you want me to talk about, Graham?
Just business and focus or whatever's on your heart, babe, that you feel that people wouldn't, because she's has a cosmetology school. So, me and her talk a lot, and what she experiences with people in the cosmetology industry, I experience with people in the notary industry, and y'all wouldn't believe how similar the behaviors of the individuals are, the men and the women in both industries. Like, they want that popcorn money, they want it quick. So me and her both deal with trying to get people to understand the reality of what her industry is as well as my industry is. And we sort of talk about that. Like, I say, yeah, babe, this was going on. And she like, I'm dealing with the same thing, and vice versa. So we encourage each other. Yeah, we encourage each other a whole lot.
There we go.
Oh. Oh, okay. Yeah, we encourage each other a whole lot, when it comes to this business. So whatever's on your mind, baby, talk about it. That's fine.
I guess when we, a lot of times when me and Griff talk, it's a lot of talking about, how much money you can make a month and how much money you can make a year and 6 figures and all of that. And the one thing that I shared with Griff probably a long time ago, actually, is that you can't get rich quick and be thorough. And that's the thing that I really think that is missing when people go into business. The focus is more on getting rich quick, getting fast money. And it seems like people want to be able to talk about it and brag about it, but you never really hear people talking about what it really goes on behind the scenes for you to be able to just go to the next phase of your business, because all of it is a process and it's not done overnight. I know this is year 7 for overnight in my business. I know this is a cosmetology school, and there is so many things that I have learned, so many things that I used to, been a lot of mistakes that I made because I honestly did not know. I was green in some areas and just honestly was ignorant of some things, came into it thinking that it was going to be one way, and then it turned out to be something totally different. And I only found that out by going through the actual experience. I've had a lot of training. I've gone to a lot of classes, courses, programs, training, college, all of it. But it came a point when I opened up the business, and I still take continuing education classes, but there really came a point where I learned a lot just through actually doing business, actually getting out there and doing what I learned. I did a lot of research. I did a lot of learning about cosmetology law, okay, and how that pertained to me actually running my business. And there were things that, I did not know. even though I had been in the business for years, even though I had been a licensed cosmetologist for years. But it wasn't until I opened up my own business and started running my own school that I started understanding and finding out all of the things that I did not know. And that's one of the things that you really have to start understanding, is that you have to start really learning your craft, learning your industry, whatever, area or lane that you want to be in within your industry, because each industry has different, avenues and lanes that you can, earn income in. And that was something that when I got into the educational lane, before, when I worked for the public school system, I was an employee, and there was only so much information that I learned. There was a lot of things that I learned. That's where I got a lot of my training. Okay, all those years of working for Virginia Beach City Public Schools. That's where I got a lot of my training. We had to go to classes all the time. Every year it was required because it was a part of us keeping our job. In order for us to get recertification, and for renewal of our license, we had to do so many hours of training each year, and we had no choice. If we didn't do those training hours, we got docked in our pay. So when I look at training, I look at it as, is this training, is this class, this course, this program, this workshop, this conference, this whatever it is that you're going to invest your time and or money, is it going to help me go to the next stage and phase or level in my business? Is it going to help me grow personally and professionally? And is it going to help me to help my business grow? If it's not, then I'm not going to do it. The reason why I went to those classes, when I was working for the public school system, is because it had something attached to it. There was going to be a return upon my investment. I was going to be able to keep my job, and I was going to continue to get paid. Okay? It was simple as that. It was not rocket science. There was going to be a return upon my investment that I could see. Now, I was going to classes where I was learning teaching strategies and methods of instruction and how to integrate technology into my instruction and things of that nature. I learned a lot. I took Apple classes. They were called Apple classes. They were basically professional development classes, but I took, they were Apple classes. I took all of the Apple software classes. I took all the Microsoft software classes. I took all of the Google software classes. And all of this, a lot of them were free. All I had to do was show up. I had to make sure I registered, and I had to show up. I had to take like 22 to 30 hours worth every single year. And they used to send out a catalog, and we had to go in and see which classes aligned with the subject that we were teaching. So English teachers had a whole catalog of classes that pertained to English teachers, math, science teachers, so forth and so on. Well, I fell into the area of technical and professional. And so there wasn't really a whole lot specifically for cosmetology. So that's when I started taking all of the computer, the IT classes. And it helped me to be able to integrate technology into my instruction. And it helped me to be able to learn how to use different softwares, to be able, I actually learned how to flip my classroom. So things that I was teaching usually face to face, I flipped it and started teaching it online using different platforms that they taught us how to use. So I was the only one using PowerPoint at that particular time. Hi, Alicia Nelson. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you. We got to the point where there were people that never wanted to go to those classes. They thought they were boring. They think they didn't have, worth. Well, I started going because I was looking for an opportunity to be able to be more effective in reaching my students and making sure that they were paying attention and that they were being engaged, because we had to have student engagement and all of that type of stuff. And so I started taking those classes, not just to, make sure that I had my recertification points, but I started taking those classes to learn new things that was going to help me be able to reach my students, be able to teach more effectively, be able to present the information in a more effective manner that would grab their attention and get their engagement. And so hopefully they would grasp hold of the information and eventually, just not just have it's called enduring information. And most people don't have enduring information, especially nowadays. Everything is like bite size. Oh, yeah, I heard that. And oh, yeah, I listened to that. And people are information rich and application poor. So they just take in. People just consume information. And so now I got to the point in my career where I wasn't just taking classes to be taking them. I was taking classes so that I could learn specifically different things that was going to help me be a more effective teacher and instructor. And when I started doing that, then I had basically a buffet of information that allowed me to be able to pick and choose and say, okay, I want to learn a little bit more about this platform. I want to learn a little bit more about this type of software. And I used to take some of these in the during the school year, but I also used to take these in the summertime when we were off from school. And I would sit down. I remember when I was trying to learn, there's a platform called Edmodo. It's basically like Facebook for education. And I took a class on Edmodo. And then I came home, remember, and we sat down, and I would sit down for like days at a time and just practice what I learned in that class on Edmodo and figure out how I would be able to implement it within my classroom setting. I think it was Edmodo when I first started flipping my classroom, and there was like several different platforms, and that's when I learned how to use PowerPoint Mix. I don't know if any of you have ever used PowerPoint Mix. It's actually a part of the PowerPoint program. And that's when I settled in on that I was going to use PowerPoint Mix. And you can actually turn a PowerPoint into a presentation that has breaks and stops in it and things of that nature. Now I just export them to video. But back then I made them into PowerPoint Mix presentations. And I remember just trying to learn how to use it and practice it and get myself comfortable with it. Well, I couldn't just say I took the class and say that was enough. And I believe that that's what a lot of people are doing, is that they're taking a class and then they never get to the point where they're practicing what they learned. See, if you see it, if you hear it, people forget 70% of what they hear the first time. 70%. So if you, and especially if you're not a good listener, you're gonna forget even more of it. But I'm a reader, listener, learner. I'm an auditory learner. I'm really not a visual learner. So a lot of times when I sit in classrooms, I have to take notes. I have to take notes because I'm not a visual learner. I learn off of what I hear. So most of the time when I'm sitting in classes, when I used to be sitting in those teacher meetings and pods and all of that kind of stuff, I would be taking notes the whole time, because if I didn't, I would fall asleep, or I, get distracted or drift off or whatever, and I didn't want to do those things. So I would take notes, and that way I can look back on what was said and be able to take it back to my classroom and just kind of, break it down for myself even more. But I remember more of what I hear. There's certain things that I need to see, but I remember more of what I hear. I prefer a book over a video. That's just me. My husband can tell you I got books galore. I'll read 3 or 4 books, different books at the same time. So I am more of an auditory reader, listener, learner. I do not draw. I teach to the opposite. I actually had to learn to teach in the opposite learning style of what I am, which was very hard. Because a lot of my students are visual. And then what I've also learned is that they say most of the people are visual. Well, a lot of times, and not saying that you don't learn from visualization, but a lot of times we're taught not to read. And so even for visual learners, there's going to come to a point where you actually are going to have to read some words. Okay, I will say that. You're going to have to read some words sometimes. So I really believe that, when you're sitting down in the class, if you're going to take a class, I had to really get to the point where if I'm taking this class, why am I taking it? Am I getting a return upon my educational investment? How is it going to help me? And so all those years that I was taking all of those classes with the school system, it helped me in those moments in that actual classroom back then. And I used to come home and always gripe about doing paperwork and documentation and all of those types of things. But it was actually preparing me for what I do now, because I am an administrator now. I am a school owner. Essentially, I am a principal. I am also, a counselor. I am an instructor. So I wear a lot of different hats, and I function in a lot of different ways within my own business. And so each thing that I do as a school owner, that's a skill set. There was no class that I went to that taught me how to be a school owner, how to be a director of a school. I had to research, I had to learn. There's certain classes, like my professional educator classes and things of that nature, that I take that I learn some things, but a lot of things I'm learning as I am doing the job, as I am coming in and going through the experience. Some of them good, some of them not so good. I always tell my husband that sometimes when things are not going as I want them to go, I embrace the challenge. I embrace maybe the pain that I'm going through in that moment. Why? Because I don't want to go through it again. I don't want to go through it again. So I want to remember the pain so that I make the necessary adjustments that need to be made within myself and within my business so I don't make those same mistakes again. Training is fine if it's going to give you a return upon your investment. If you are just taking classes just to be taking classes and it's not helping you within your business, whether it's a notary business, whether it's a cosmetology business like what I have, or whether it's some other type of business, then why are you taking the classes? You have to ask yourself that question. Why are you taking the classes? I don't do anything to try to impress anybody anymore. I stopped doing that a long time ago when it comes to business. I had to learn that I don't want to be going backwards. Am I in the same place now than I was 7 years ago? And the answer is no. Has my business grown? Yes, it has. Am I doing things differently? Yes. Each time something happened within my business, because I run a school and I didn't want those things to happen again, guess what I did? I got rid of my last set of policies and rewrote all of my handbooks myself. So that's a skill that I had to learn and develop in. I had to learn language. I had to, learn how to be specific. And I had to learn how to communicate and how to present myself, verbally, visually, okay? And how to get my point across when I'm dealing with people. So this is something that, because we're hearing a lot about training, going to conferences, going to workshops. If what you're participating in, even the networking stuff, if what you're participating in, if it's not giving you a return upon your investment, I'm not just talking about money-wise. How is it helping you to get better? Are you growing and developing and getting better each and every day? Each and every day. If you're not getting better, then you're going backwards. And so many people have a whole lot of stuff that they're participating in, and none of it is bringing them a return upon their investment. Some of it could, if they actually went out and applied what they've learned. And so you really don't know if you've learned something until you try to go forth to apply it. And so that's how I've learned a lot of things. I've taken what I've learned and now I apply it. I look at the 23 years that I spent with the school system as a paid internship for what I do now. This is like the third phase of my career. I've had a cosmetology license for 39 years. And I've worked in some facet of the industry. And so now I've moved into the educational part of the industry. And I've had to learn to minimize my setbacks. Most people are caught and stuck in that loop of being set back or afraid or scared, paralysis by analysis. They are constantly over analyzing everything,
trying to be perfect.
Trying to be perfect. I by no means have I been perfect when I've been running my school. There have been mistakes that have been made. I've done things wrong. I've had to go back and do it again. And so I always say to myself, if I have time to do it wrong, I have time to do it over. And so now the question becomes, how many times do I want to do this over? And so that's why I say you've got to learn how to be thorough. And it's, for me, it's not about the get rich quick. It's about me being thorough and laying a strong foundation within my business, so that when I move to move to the next phase and stage of my business, I know that the foundation of my business is strong, and it's so I have substance there, and it's not hollow. A lot of times businesses don't last because it's kind of like a shooting star. Oh, they made a whole lot of money. Oh, I made 6 figures this year. But can you repeat what you just did this year, next year, and the year after that, and the year after that? And that's what you're trying to learn, what to do, and do what you need to do, not only to obtain your business, but maintain it and sustain it. And that's what a lot of people don't do. They're just stuck. And a lot of people are stuck in just taking a whole bunch of training, and they never execute what they've learned. A lot of times they can't even identify what they've learned. And then you've got to be able to identify if what you've learned is just a trend. If what you quote unquote learn it's something that's going to help you directly as a notary, as an entrepreneur, as someone who owns a business, is it going to help you right then and there? And when you go to a class, a course, go through a program, go to a workshop, go to a conference, can you identify what you've learned?
And
that's the question.
Action, and I guess also will be is any of what you learn actionable?
Yeah, can you take anything that you learn and apply it, within your business? Can you take what you've learned and apply it within your business the next time you go in to do business, the next time you go to that notary signing, the next time you go to do, that loan document, or notarize that will, or whatever it is that you're doing? And so that's how I began to look at things. That's why I don't go. People are like, oh, you're not going to that hair show? And I'm like, for what? And they're like, oh, but it's fun. And I'm like, I'm all for fun, but how is that going to help me? If I go to Atlanta, to the Atlanta hair show, and spend $2,000 getting there, what's going to be my return upon my investment? If any of you have seen the documentary Good Hair, it was a prime example of what they do at a lot of those hair shows. People are getting their hair cut upside down and being dipped in water and all this crazy stuff. But how is that going to help me as a stylist? Now, the people that I do their hair, they don't get their hair cut upside down inside of water tanks. They don't. So how is that going to help me seeing that as a stylist and as a school owner? How am I going to be able to take anything that I saw at that show and bring it back to my school and salon and implement it right away? And how is that going to help me get 1% better? The answer is it's not. And that's why I really don't attend a lot of hair shows. People criticize the hair shows because they're not learning. Some of them are starting to have classes and stuff like that attached to them because people complain, but we're spending all this money and all people are doing is selling me blow dryers, curling irons, hair care products, and stuff like that. And people are just selling stuff. But you're really not learning anything. You're spending a lot of money, but you're not really learning anything. And so you're helping somebody else in their business. You're helping them get rich, but there's no return upon the investment. So for me, I've never been one that liked going to these hair shows because I don't see a return upon my investment. I don't see anything that I can bring back to my school and salon that I can implement, that I can execute, that can help my business grow, that can help me personally in my profession. And that's how you got to look at things. That's how you got to look at it. Like, how am I going to get better? What did I learn? How is that going to help me? How is that going to help me be a better notary? How is that going to help me be a better business man or woman or person or business owner?
So, babe, so then I guess that would require somebody to be honest with themselves.
Yes, you do have to be honest with yourself. You can't keep lying to yourself. You can't keep deceiving yourself. And, you know, you probably say, man, she sounds like a party pooper. I just don't believe in wasting money. I just don't believe in wasting time. I just don't. I really, really don't. And I just look at things differently. I don't believe in taking trips just to be taking them and stuff like that. You know, I just really believe that whatever I'm doing, like if we're going out of town, like we just went out of town, we went and visited family and stuff like that. But that is a different type of trip than me taking a trip and spending hundreds of dollars or maybe thousands, depending on how much you're investing. And it has something to do, it's supposed to have something to do with my career. That's different. And so for me, I look at it like, especially as entrepreneurs, you have to, when you're back from that trip, when you're back from that networking event, you still got to come back and you still have business expenses that you have to pay. You still have your personal household expenses that you have to pay. So if you spent $100, $200, $500, $1,000, $2,000 on this conference, on this workshop, on this sip and stamp, whatever it is, okay, then is that taken away from you being able to pay your expenses that are connected to your business?
Well, you're paying your expenses, but you got to pay it now out of your W-2,
right?
Because you're not bringing it. You spent
right
3-4 days
away from your business,
away from your business, and the money that you did have when you went to the conference, went to the meetup, you spent it on the trinkets that they said you need to buy,
right?
But you still haven't implemented them. I'm gonna bring Claude on real quick.
Yeah.
So you can answer this question. Bringing you up now, Claude. What's going on, my man? What you got?
Well, I just wanted to join in with everybody. So I see Griff. He works like a madman. How do you handle that? And I mean, are you the same way? Are you always working like him, or?
You talking about me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Do you work like I'll be out there all the hard, the hours I put in?
Oh, okay. I work a lot. I work too, but I work just within my business. I used to work like him. I used to work a couple of jobs at the same time. In fact, when I first started my business, I was working full-time as a teacher for the school system, and I was also working for Sally Beauty, and I had my business that I had now. So I had those three things going. And for me, what I found out that I couldn't put the time into my business because I was working those other two jobs. So I didn't do it right away, but eventually I let them, I stopped working the part-time job at Sally Beauty, and then I retired from the school system so that I could focus on my cosmetology school. I work a lot, but it's within my school. I still do clients, so I still cut hair and style hair, but I do it just a few days a week. And so it's another stream of income within my own business.
But she's not doing the hours like I do.
No.
Because I'll be up late. She goes to bed.
I go to bed.
She goes to bed.
I get up really early. I get up at 5 a.m. and I have a schedule and all of that. And I have a lot of different things that I have to do within my business, but I don't keep the same type of schedule as him. Mine is more of of a traditional schedule. My school opens up at 9. I have there's times when I work 9 to 9, 9 in the morning to 9 at night at my school. And it's warranted, especially if I have daytime students and evening students that go part-time. So there are times when I have, students enrolled in both daytime and evening programs where I'm there from 9 to 9. Right now, it's not like that because I just have daytime students.
Yeah.
It just really depends, but I do not keep the same hours as him. He has just a totally different schedule than I do. He's more mobile than I am. And so mine is more of a traditional schedule, more of a 9 to 5-ish type schedule. Sometimes it can go 9 to 9. But there are times of the year that I'm more busy and I have a lot more on my plate than other times. Like right now, I have a lot on my plate because the state just changed the law. And so now we have to resubmit all of our curriculum for our school and get approved all over again for our cosmetology program. And so I also have a student that's going to be coming in. So student package is getting done. So it just depends on where we are, but I do not keep the same type of schedule.
Yeah. Plus, here's what I'm doing, Claude. And this is a decision I made. I said, okay, I look at my family life. And when I say family, my wife, my sons, and I look at my wife, my sons, and then I say, okay, how can I support them to do what they need to do? And what level of sacrifice do I need to make it happen for them? And then I do it. So a lot of the ripping and running, the this, to that, taking the orders here and there, the last minute, it's all about, okay, if I'm doing this, then that frees them up to do what they do. Plus, I've learned over the years, my wife can't push like I do, just keep going, because she gets tired. She wants to take her naps and all of that stuff. So there's times where she can go, but I'm like, to see her at her best, I need to let her get the schedule that she needs so she can keep it, so she can be fresh, and she doesn't need to push and just keep going like I can do sometimes. So there are some couples, some husbands who will push their wife and be like, come on, keep going. Because if I can go and go and go, and from being in the military, I got used to just operating off of 4 or 5 hours of sleep. I still do it sometimes. So it's like, she can't do that. So you got to recognize the limitations of the people in your house who you're supporting. So that's why I do what I do, so that she can be free to do what she needs to do. And I've learned that if she can focus on that and not have to worry about doing a second job or any kind of business stream of income that's outside of the scope of cosmetology, she's at her best. And that's what I'm working through. That's what I'm doing. I'm working toward that. So if I'm doing this business full time or whatever business I'm doing, if I don't take the orders, then what am I doing? I'm just sitting around. I'm not doing anything, so I can't cut hair, so let me get out there and empower her to do her thing.
Because people ask that all the time because they do see him, Claude, and they do ask the same type of question. They're like, well, do you work like that too? And I don't. I used to work a lot just working for the school system. It stressed me out so bad. I did it for a long time. So now I had to, understand my personality and just the way that I function best. And I have to have order. I have to have structure. I don't like running around a whole lot. I don't like running around a whole lot. I'm not, lazy by any stretch of the imaginations, but I don't like driving around and all that kind of stuff. If I'm driving, I like to go point A to point B, do what I have to do, get back to where I need to get back to. I am more of a, structured thing. There's been a couple of questions about how do you balance family and business, and you work a lot. Well, our sons are adults, and so a lot of times when people ask that question, I don't know how old your children are, but it has a lot to do with how old your children are. Because if your children are young, your children require more of your time and your attention in a different way than when your children are adults.
Yep.
And when our children were young, and when they were in elementary school, middle school, high school, all of that, both of them did, one played golf and the other one did gymnastics. And we had, I had to keep up with their schedule. And I was also teaching, for the public school system and all of that. Griff at one point was working for 4 years in Maryland. He was not working, in town during the week. So I had to keep up with his schedule, my son's schedule, all of that. So I wasn't an entrepreneur at that time. That's the thing that you have to look at. If you're going to go into business, you have to really take an assessment of where your family is as a whole. And how is it going to affect your time with your family?
Yeah.
That's what you have to ask. Is it going to take time away from your family? Is it going to handle that? Yeah, and can they handle that? What I started doing, or even what Griff started doing, was when you started in the notary business, he already had a technology consulting business that he started back in 2014. But when you started the notary business, our sons were already graduated from high school. Same thing when I started this cosmetology school, our sons were already 3 years out of high school, and they were going to college at that point, or they finished out with whatever they were doing. So we were at a different phase and stage in our family and our marriage and everything. And so we have to do a lot with our calendars. With everything that I do gets put on his calendar. Everything that he does gets put on my calendar. We always discuss what we have going on, so that if we want to do something recreational, like that trip we just took, we took a trip in the middle of the week. So we left on a Wednesday, we came back on a Friday, but we just can't be spontaneous and do stuff. We have to plan everything out. And so that was time that we spent with one another and with family, but that had to be planned out. And so everything that we do is planned. If you are not a planner, if you're not organized, you're going to have a hard time in business. You're going to have a hard time balancing it. And so you have to understand that if you're like overwhelmed and if you have a lot of stuff on your plate and things of that nature, you may have to reassess what you're doing and how much you're doing and where you're doing it and who you're doing it with. We're just in a different stage and phase in our marriage, in our life, with our sons, all of that. And so when we have to step out and do something outside of what we normally do, it has to be planned. We have to be in communication with one another. We know, like a certain time, like Sundays is a day where Griff may not be as busy. Okay. Sometimes he has a notary signing or two on a Sunday, but he doesn't have 5 of them. or 6 of them like he has during the week. So a lot of times if we want to do something as a family, we'll set it up on a Sunday, because usually that's the day when our sons are off from their job too. And so it's a lot of communication. It's a lot of assessing where you are in your marriage, if you're married, with your family, and discussing it and planning it out and having respect for one another's time.
Yeah, and conversation. You know, we had conversations. And again, like I've been doing a series. I did the series, getting started as a mobile notary, here on for everybody. One of the big things is have a conversation with your family, but the conversation comes based on you having a knowledge and understanding of the business that you're getting into. If you don't understand the business, then how can you communicate to them if you're not actively trying to do the business, not just taking classes, but actively trying to do it so you can see the ebb and flow of it? Then you'll be able to communicate to them and plan. Okay, so this is how things roll. This is the best time. This is the worst time for me to try to do something. And you can communicate to them more effectively. So what other question you had, Claude?
Well, I was like Monday, I had my first 4 signing day,
Okay.
and two of them were last minute, like add-ins, and I was like, from the first signing till I was done, like not a single down moment, you know, except driving, and I consider that work. And I was so hyped up by the end of that. And I'm just wondering, do you get used to that? Or, because I know that, you know, that one day you had like 7 signings, and
yeah, early this week. Yeah,
you were like that. But
right.
that's
I was
7
hyped
signings, and I'm doing 4, and I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah, it depends on how the signings went. Like that day, because I did a video just for the members talking about how I had started off with 3, started off with 3, went to 5, went to 4, went back to 5, then to 7. And and I'm sitting here like, okay, then I'm sitting here battling. What got me hyped was trying to find the parking, because I know I have a rental car and I didn't want the rental car to get towed. And sometimes them tow truck people be damaging cars, and I was like, no, I can't. So I had to pay $25 for parking, and then I was like, okay, I got to get the company to pay me back for that. And then I get there, and the lady, she was doing her thing. It was at her job. That got me a little hype, because then I get in there, find out the name that they put on the document isn't her actual name. So let's say, like, if her name was, on the documents it had Catherine, but you know, sometimes people call somebody Katie for a nickname for Catherine. Well, Katie was actually her name, not Catherine. So now I'm like, oh my goodness, am I going to have to go and do? So I had got all wound up about it, and then I still had other stuff that I had to do after that. So yeah, you can get wound up, and you learn to manage your emotions with it, and you like, okay, it's done. I did it correctly. That's why I said it's not about perfection. It's about doing it correctly. Did I do what I needed to do the way it needed to be done, so that when these documents go back, everybody's happy? If the answer is yes, then cool. Now, my outlet when I get amped is to do videos. So I hop on, I do a video, and lo and behold, what y'all don't realize is that there are times where I will do a video and y'all will never see it. But that's just my way of getting, you know, like the wife, if she's busy, I look at the calendar, okay, she's busy, and I will actually just do a video and just sort of vent and then I delete the video. So y'all will never ever see the video. I'm not fussing, cussing, nothing like that. Well, sort of fussing, but no cursing, nothing crazy, but it's just my way of getting it out and everything. And then after I do that video, it helps me to figure out how to communicate that better to y'all, so that it can be a teachable moment. So when I do a video, sometimes when I'm doing a video, by the time I post that video, and sometimes it takes a while off of the cell phone, I've sometimes have done that video 3 or 4 times just to get my emotions out so that when I talk to y'all can understand me. Like, okay, man, he all amped up because I have to be honest with you. There are some people, if I was to really just let my emotions go, like, this just got on me. Some people, they shut down and they don't want to hear and they miss what I'm saying, because for some people, they don't like they consider that negative energy. But that's the reality of being a business owner. You get into those moments and stuff like, man, this is just wow, I can't believe this happened. Just like the video I posted today where I'm driving and the dude was just rolling up on me in the cars and stuff. And normally I would have stopped and redid the video. I said, you know what? I ain't gonna redo it. Y'all need to know this is what's going on. You're minding your business and you got somebody rolling up on you. The traffic is got a good pace and this person is being impatient. So now you getting all amped up over that. And now you got to be able to calm that down for when you get in the room with your signers. You can't go in there and greeting them. Yeah, I got here and man, they was doing this and that. Because today I almost got hit twice by people not paying attention. But when I go to the signers, I'm not talking about that stuff. So you learn to get your emotions straight, but yeah, sometimes it's okay to be hyped up, because, that's a part of the business. I'm hyped up mainly because I got the business. I'm like, man, that's good. I'm just happy that I got it.
I just don't want to be like that every day.
And you will learn how to manage it. You will learn how to manage it. You will. And I know for some people that's a lot on them because that might not be their personality and they may have never been like that. But it's not a bad thing because it's like, okay, well, why am I amped up? Well, I did 4 signings. And if I did 4, from a competition standpoint, that other notary didn't do 4. I made money off of them 4. Okay, good. And now you start realizing there are going to be days where I can have 4. How do I manage my emotions with that? And then you start coming up with a plan. And you implement that plan that helps you manage emotions with that situation.
I think the thing that concerns me most is just getting to appointments on time. I'm kind of obsessive about not being late.
Right.
And just like always just that worrying about, am I managing the time right? Am I going to get there?
Okay. Well, I can be that way myself, but here's the thing. The question then becomes, whose fault is it that you're late? Is it your fault because you were just completely unprepared and they got you the documents ahead of time, but you played around and just didn't do what you needed to do, didn't leave on time, didn't take into account the traffic, the time of day, is school time or whatever? Or is it because they got you the documents late, and because they got you the documents late, that made you late? So as I've said in older videos, when I get the documents, if I see that I'm going to be late, I'm letting the signers know. It's just a matter of communication. And if you're not communicating, which some notaries do, they won't communicate and tell people I'm being late. They just show up an hour late and don't say anything, don't even apologize. They just roll up, here I am. So how you handle being late, you communicating it to them, that's what's key. But if you have everything staged and set and ready, toner, paper, all of that stuff, you already know which directions you can go to get to someplace, then it's just a matter. And like if the traffic is holding me up, I leave ahead of time. Because one of the things I will do, and I think I did a video the other day, I was telling y'all, yeah, I left and I was there 30 minutes ahead of time. And I just sat there in the neighborhood. Because some people I've come across, they don't like being late, but yet they won't go to places early. And you got to figure out, okay, if I really don't like being late, what am I doing for those? If I normally like to get to a place 15 minutes ahead of time, okay, well, what am I really doing for the 15 minutes prior to that? What's wrong with me getting there 15 minutes before that? So if I need to be there at 3, I get there at 2:30. And some people can't do that. Some people that bothers them because they're sitting. They're like, no, I got to be, because they consider that downtime. And it's like, and I had to learn. I'm gonna sit there. I'll go to a church parking lot, shopping center, someplace, and I will sit and I'll be like, all right. And I'll wait, and then I roll up there. I'm on time, because if the most important thing for you to be is on time, then do the necessary things to be on time.
Sometimes he'll call me. Sometimes he'll call me because he has my schedule, and he'll look and see. And sometimes he'll call me and say, I got a few minutes before, I can go ahead and go in for, his next signing and all of that. And so he'll call, check on me, see how my day is going. He can see if I have an appointment on my calendar that has changed and, it's been rescheduled and moved or what have you. And he'll call me just to see how I'm doing throughout the day. And for me, when he has one of those days like you were describing, where he has 4 to 6 or 7 signings, I don't expect to hear from him. I don't expect to hear from him, because that's a lot that you're doing, back to back to back. Sometimes it's like that. I won't hear from him until the end of the day. The other day, there was some changing going on with the signings that he had. So he contacted me and said, could I get my oldest son to come pick me up? And so I think that when he goes on these signings, or before he goes into the home or wherever it is that they're meeting, and he has that downtime to just be able to gather his thoughts, I think that's great. And to, something may have happened between the last, signing that you just completed and the one that you're getting ready to do. You need to gather your thoughts. You need to refocus, because each notary signing is a different environment, a different situation, a different circumstance. And so you need to be able to focus and give them your undivided attention. And I think just being able to do that by having those few extra minutes to just gather your thoughts and refocus is really, really good. If he knows he has to go on the other side of the water, on the peninsula, something like that, and there's going to be traffic, he'll tell me, he said, I'm going to go now so that I won't get stuck in traffic, and that he'll be able to get there on time. And like he said, if there's a shopping center nearby or something like that, or a mall where he can go, that he'll get on the other side so that being late won't become an issue. And so he had to really just learn how to manage his time, know your calendar, all of those types of things. And I know just me, being his wife, I can't be, how can I put it? I'm gonna just go ahead and say, I can't be a nag. I can't nag him. I can't nag him. I can't want to talk to him every 5 minutes of the day. He is a busy man. He is the head of our household. He is the head of our family, and he has a very big responsibility in the role and and how he functions as my husband and the father, of our children. So I have to understand that he's out here doing what he needs to do to make things happen. And so I had to adjust. I had to, because it was no longer him being at a regular job and me being at a regular job and things of that nature. But now he's the business that he is running is very highly mobile. And so that was something that I had to get used to. He was not sitting at the desk at his job anymore. He's he's in this city, and now he's in this city, and now he's in this city. And so I had to get used to that. I had to respect what he has going on as far as running his businesses, and respect his time, and not expect him to be sitting next to me every 5 minutes. There are times where I'll say, can I talk to you? Because he's on the phone, confirming appointments, talking to signing companies, talking to title companies,
talking to y'all,
talking to channel members, answering questions. And so if there's, a time where it's an emergency, I need his undivided attention. I don't need him to be interrupted by phone calls and stuff like that. I'll say, look, can I really talk to you? This is really important, so that I can get his undivided attention. But I don't do that a whole lot, do I? I really don't.
Many of y'all have talked to me. Some of y'all have been on the phone with me, and I'll be like, okay, the wife needs me. And then I'm gone. And I'll be talking to y'all, and she'll text me or whatever. And I'll be like, all right, I'm gone. That's it. And no one has ever been like, no, put your wife off to the side, finish talking to me, help me with my sign. And nobody has ever done that. So I will say that y'all have been very respectful for me and my wife, because I put it this way: if y'all weren't being respectful, she will let you know. What she has had to do in the past. Y'all seen the older videos she had to do in the past. People was, calling and just like demanding. I'm talking about calling like 6, 7 in the morning. It's like, okay, you could have called me the other day when you had to sign it, and now you realize you just got blacklisted. I can't help you get unblacklisted. You should have called me when you was in the thing and stuff. Any other questions you got, man?
No, I just wanted to say I really so much appreciate all the work that you do, Griff, and Mrs. Griff, for letting him do it. He provides so much information, and I just love your videos about like how your day is going and what you're doing, and there's always like a little nugget in there, and I appreciate it.
Well, just as John Maxwell said in the beginning of those videos I was playing, one of the things he said, leaders, they show you get to see, because right now some of it, and I get it, you'll have to understand that some people who you're following, those trainers, they've graduated from doing the work to only talking to you about the work. And that's part of the reason why I don't want to right now, I don't want to go into that realm of just being a full-fledged, all I'm doing is just training, because you get removed. And in my opinion, all it takes is for you to be out of doing closings for about 4 to 6 months, and you're considered out of the loop.
Yeah.
Because once you get on the grind, think about it, Claude, you did 4. Just imagine somebody who's doing 4 to 5 a day, maybe let's just say out of a Monday through Friday, 20 work days out, they're doing that half the month. And then the other rest, they're doing maybe 2 or 3. And then you go 6 months and not do that. You just can't turn around and hop back in it, because your body like really decompresses from that. And then you lose a step or 2. So you lose touch with the people who you're training. So I'm trying right now myself, I'm trying to do as best I can to share information and stay in the groove of things. Plus, I like doing the closings. I like meeting the people. Let's just be real. There are trainers out there who don't like the face-to-face. They don't like even the run. They don't like dealing with people. They just want to sit back and make money. And I don't fault them for that. I just think they need to be honest and upfront with y'all that they don't really care for doing that, which means when you really have a problem or a question that needs to be answered, or as how to deal with situations, they're not going to be able to answer you, because they've disconnected and removed themselves from that life. So you asking them, hey, how would you handle this? man, that they're like, I ain't got time to talk to you about that.
And that's something that me and him both is I deal with students and former students.
All right, thanks, Clark.
And so I have people, even after they've graduated or whatever the case might have been, that they'll call and they'll, have questions, and they don't want a whole class or anything like that, but they just need, some answers to specific questions. They don't call all the time, but they know that I am a, there's a level of experience and things that I have learned and researched and studied and gone through, that they know that, oh, I'm gonna call Miss Griffin. She can give me, the answer to what I need in those moments. As far as like somebody asked about getting in the 5 o'clock, the 5 a.m. club, that is something that I ended up doing over time. When I was working with the school system, my class started at 7:40. So we had to be at work by 7:25. So me getting up, there's other people that did it, but me getting up at 6 o'clock wasn't going to cut it. So I ended up having to get up at I probably have gotten up as early as 4 in the morning, depending on what you want to do in your morning routine. But if you're running a business, you definitely have to have a morning routine of what you're doing, how you're going to go back, going about executing that portion of your day. And so that morning routine, for me, it's fine. Like I said, I have done 4 a.m. 4 a.m. is a little early. So 4 a.m. is a little early. So, but 5 a.m., I basically wake up on my own. He can tell you, because I have alarm clocks right there, but most of the time I wake up on my own. So my own internal body clock is used to 5 a.m. So I wake up at 5 a.m. Now I've been working out in the mornings at 5 a.m. So I get up, go downstairs, go in the garage, get on that elliptical, and get my hours of cardio in. And so I am, really, I became a morning person at all those years of getting up, and going in and to school. And you also have to identify when's your most productive time of the day when it comes to work. And my most productive time of the day is the morning. And so that's why I'm able to get up at 5 a.m. And then you got to look at your day. Like some people, burn the midnight oil. That's my husband. He's up half the night and all that kind of stuff. That's just not me. It's just not me. I don't know how else to put it. It used to be me when I was younger, but now it just seemed like it flipped, and it flipped a long time ago. And so most productive days, a time of the day for me is the morning. And so if yours is more in the evening and stuff like that, then set your day up for that. But I know for me, even when, our sons were younger and all that type of stuff, I had to get up, and I had to make sure that I was up so that I got them up and that they were getting up and getting to school on time and all of that. But if you really want to get more into your day where you're being more productive, you just got to look at your day, do an inventory of what is taking place during your day. And I will say this, because I'm not on social media except for YouTube. I have 2 YouTube channels, but that's it. I'm not on Instagram at all. I don't have an Instagram. I don't have a Facebook. I don't have an X account. Most people have all of those accounts. I don't have a TikTok account. In my mind, this is me, I feel like social media is a time waster. So if you're on social media, I'm not talking about if you're using it for business and you post to promote your business and all that kind of stuff. I'm talking about you're spending time scrolling, and that's the first thing that you do when you get up. Then you've got to figure out, like on my phone, it comes up and it tells me how much time I spent on my phone the week before. And it'll say, oh, you spent 2 hours more this week than you did last week, or you spent, an hour and a half less, or 3 hours less this week on your phone than you did the week before. And so you have to really be honest with yourself. If you're spending a lot of time on social media just looking at stuff, not talking about, business, or you're just up there scrolling, that takes away a lot of the time that you could be doing fill in the blank that can help you grow and develop and get better as a notary or just as a person at large. And then you have to ask yourself, if that time that you're spending on social media, is that helping you grow your business? That's, once again, what is the return upon the investment? So that's something that I always look at. People are like, I can't believe you're not on this and you're not on that. I chose YouTube to promote my business and all of that because I felt like I could have more of a control.
Mm-hmm. It's ours, well.
Yeah.
Nah, she ain't getting on the social media because her day is just busy.
Yeah, my day is
her day is so packed with stuff and all of that.
Yeah, my day, when you're in a school, you have a lot to do. There's a lot of stuff that I don't have to sit down and grade because they're taking
your possible client base.
Yeah. Yeah, my possible client base is not on TikTok.
Is not looking for a cosmetology school
on TikTok or on Instagram or on X. But they will, hit
that Google business page.
Yeah, they will hit that Google business page. So that is something that I had to look at. So I use my Google business page. I promote my business on there. I promote my business on YouTube. Because of the fact that on YouTube I can do longer videos or I can do shorter videos, and I can take my time to express. Of course, you can do lives and all the stuff you can do on YouTube. And so I felt like I could control that. I had to pick a platform and learn how to use it and be effective. And that's what I had to, sit down and do over time. And so, like Griff just said, my client base are people who are looking for cosmetology schools. They're not looking for a school on TikTok. That's not that what you see on cosmetology schools on TikTok and stuff like that, or a day in the life in cosmetology school, day 2 in cosmetology school, day 25 in cosmetology. That's what you see on TikTok, but it's
and they
not.
Need to be in there learning instead of doing that. But see, that's the thing. If it wasn't for, I'll be honest, the only reason why I even do the YouTube and stuff is because once I found out how fraudulent people are out there, and I know many of you have decided to do this business and you're working your butts off and you're taking a leap of faith, and you don't need some shyster lying to you and convincing you to click on their affiliate link so they can get paid. I mean, you got folk out here, they make more money getting people to click on an affiliate link and signing up for a course than actually doing the notary work. And many of you aren't into trying to have 5 or 6 businesses. You're not even ready to handle 5 or 6 streams, within the notary business. You're just trying to do this one thing. And there's so many detractors from trying to just learn the notary business. So that's why I'm out here doing it. I could shut everything down and be fine and just move on and all of that. But I know, and just my personality, I would get over it after a while, but it would eat me up a little bit because I'm like, I know there are people getting taken to the bank. And here's the thing, and this is why I have such, to a degree, some disdain toward these notary trainers, mentors, and coaches, what I call this TMCs. And I'm about, me and Q gonna make a rap about that. The TMCs, trainers, mentor, coaches. That's gonna be a rap. We gonna do that. The TMCs. I'll tell you. My issue is that they don't care, and I'm gonna say it, and if they don't like it, then they need to correct me. But I'm concerned that they don't really care about your family life if they got you doing stuff that's extracting money from you, and you're not being put in a position to make money, except to do all of this super cool fancy stuff. What purpose does it serve that you just started being a notary, and then within 3 months of being a notary, hey, start a signing company and do this? And y'all don't realize how hard it is to do a signing company. Just think about the people you see in your Facebook group who are complaining about all of this stuff. Because here's the thing. If being a signing company owner was so super cool and funky fresh, how come a lot of them aren't able to pay us $150 a pop? How come they can't do that? I'm not against the signing company, because I love working with them, because they provide a whole lot of opportunities. But the question is, you go from I'm a notary making $200 a pop to I'm a notary signing company and I'm only pay you $75. You see what I'm saying? So they got you doing stuff, and then you turn around and you sort of jamming up other people. And what I don't see is where people care about the fact that you are spending all of this money to be a part of their cool kids club, and you're not making money, because they keep telling you you shouldn't go out and do any notary work unless you're getting paid at least 100, 150, 200. And I'm sitting here like, but all of this other businesses out here that you can actually do and make $5 or $6 grand a month. Because I still have not seen too many people. I can think of only one person, and it's some dude out there in Colorado from a couple of years ago, that is really making a lot of money, and they're only doing $100. But at the same time, he did say, I take orders less than 100 and more than 100, and that he averages 100. So in order to average 100, that means you got some more than 100 and some less. If you understand math, to average 100 or any dollar amount, that means either
there's a high and a low.
There's a high and a low,
and
or you're actually getting that fee every single time. So if somebody say, "Oh, I average $100," so are you getting that fee every single time?
No,
no. Okay, so you're getting more and you're getting less, and the more and the middle ground between the more and the less. In other words, the fancy word median is 100.
I think you got to learn to listen to what people are saying
and what they're
really,
not saying.
Yeah, really listen, because you can't allow yourself emotionally to get caught up in what they're saying and the hype behind it. Because a lot of times, if you were to, ask them a little bit more questions, about the details behind what they're doing, and, to make $100,000 as a notary, and you're actually out there doing notary work, whether it's general notary work, whether it's Ron closings, Apostille, whether it's loan closings, estate planning, whatever it is, whatever type of notary work that you're doing, you have to really be working. I mean, you have to be consistent, you have to be organized, you have to be experienced, and you have to have buy-in from your family. You have to and you have to stand there, and you have to be out there daily, and you have to be able to have access to that type of time, and you're full time. I've had there are going to be times when where you may have 4 signings or 5 signings in a day, or you might, like with Griff, The last half of the month, a lot of times when it gets towards the end of the month, you see the pattern starts picking up, where he starts getting more and more signings. Like he'll be super booked in the last half, and then you can see where it starts to, you know, cool off, and it's really the same pattern almost every month. And that's why he knows, well, okay, on this day I don't really have anything going on, and he can do some house inspections, or he can do some other type of delivery work. And that's when you know, you learn the flow of your notary business. You learn the flow, like I know from the 15th down through the 30th or the 31st or what have you, it's going to be busier. And you know that you can do some things in the beginning of the month because you don't have as many signings.
Right.
Look, and another thing that you pay attention to is what's going on in the housing market. What's going on with the percentage, the interest rates, and just what's going on in your neighborhood, locally, what's going on in your city, what's going on in your state, what's going on, you know, like for us, it's the Hampton Roads and things of that nature. Pay attention to what's going on. Don't just kind of be out there and be like, oh, you know, I'm just waiting for whatever is getting ready to, you know, drop out the sky as far as work. Pay attention to what's going on. Pay attention to the surroundings of your business per se. And it's very, very mobile now. Where notary signings used to be something that you had to go into the notary's office, to the notary public, and, you know, get your document notarized. Well, now it's mobile. It's mobile. So this is something that you have to really, that's a part of you knowing what's going on, being aware within your business, being aware. And a lot of times people are not, they're just looking for the business to be, you know, kind of plop into their laps. And another part of it too is just really learn your business, learn your the notary laws for your state, and understand that when people are speaking on YouTube or whatever platform they may be using, just kind of already keep it in your mind that they may be speaking from their point of view and from whatever state that they may be living in. And I have to see, we don't have that issue with cosmetology, because with cosmetology it's already regulated. Each state regulates it totally different than the next state. So it's already known that, you know, Montana is going to be different than, you know, Virginia, as far as cosmetology and how they regulate it and what they accept and what they don't accept and what you can do and what you can't do. A lot of times it just seems like with the notary is that people don't understand that it's not, you know, one size fits all for all 50 states. And so people come into it saying, well, I followed this person and they said this and they said we could, you know, they were able to do that. And what was left out is the details and the factors that they live in, you know, California, or they live in New York, or they live in Chicago. And, you know, the fees may be slightly higher in those areas. And it's just a lot of things that they may have access to in those bigger cities that somebody that lives maybe in a rural area where things are more spaced out and, you know, it's just not the same. The business is not set up the same in those rural areas as it is in those bigger cities or in those metropolitan areas. So your results within your business is going to be different. And the rules and the laws in the states are going to be different. So it's going to affect your business differently. And so these are things that you have to keep in mind when you're listening to people speak about the notary business and their results and how much money they've made or the success that they've had. Keep that in mind so you don't get caught up.
Well, it's a good marketing. It's a good marketing technique to make it seem like everything is the same with the notary business, that it's a one size fits all. It is a very good marketing tactic, because if you realize, if you came into this business understanding, or it was communicated to you that the notary business is very, very different for each and every state, and I, as a notary trainer, don't have the information that may be applicable to your state, you're not going to spend money on me. I'm saying, here's my course, you can do that. And what I'm seeing is that people are taking all of this stuff in, but they're not making money, because they're finding out, as we did a clubhouse, the lady was like, this club, we did a clubhouse a couple of nights ago, where she was like, this notary business isn't what people said it was. The way they're marketing it is different. And y'all know, I've said for years, how you market this business determines how people come into this business. And the way they are marketing this business, people are coming in and they're realizing, whoa. And remember, many of you have to remember, I know you remember when I said about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, the people who are coming into the business now, they aren't putting up with that foolishness. They are looking and thinking and seeing like, you know what? What you're saying don't make sense. These people aren't coming in with the same stress on them. They got stress, but they don't have the pandemic stress. They got the stress, okay, I'm losing my job and I need to find something that's solid and that's going to really, really help. And they're like, okay, let me try this notary thing. And then they're like, wait a minute, okay, them results that you're talking about don't sound legit. And they're asking questions. And I told y'all that the people coming into this business now are going to be more apt to ask questions. They're going to really investigate, and don't be surprised if they start dropping some suits on people for lying to them, and be like, wait a minute, what you're saying don't match any of what, and you didn't give me the proper disclaimers, or they were just some junk disclaimers just to keep you sort of, just to cover you, but you really aren't teaching me anything. And that's why so many of these trainers, mentor, coaches will sit there, and as soon as you start complaining, they give you your money back, because they figure, well, if I give you your money back, you can't complain. Well, you still can complain, because the initial thing that you told me was never able to be done. What you originally said that you was going to help me to accomplish, there was no way, based off of what the information you have, I could ever accomplish it. So you giving me my money back, okay, that's cool, but you're still perpetuating this false narrative that, oh, you have the answer to help me get to $100,000 a year, when I'm looking at what you are putting out there doesn't apply to my area. Oh, well, every area is different. Okay, why didn't you say that up front? And why are you so insistent that I take your course? And why are you saying that, hey, because I'm connected with this group and I'm connected with that group, and these many people are shouting my praises, how can you not come in over here and make money? But when I came, none of that stuff was relevant, and it was just flat out not true. You see, this is what's going on. And this is why I'm saying you got to start questioning these people, because it's your money. And you are, at that point in time, a consumer. Yes, you're a business owner, but you're a consumer trying to better your business. And what they're teaching you, what they're passing on to you, is not helping you whatsoever. And you have a right to stand up for yourself. But if you are not the kind of person that wants to, if you're not the kind of person that likes conflict, that likes to fight for yourself, don't complain if you're not going to stand up for yourself. Because as a business owner, you got to stand up for yourself, especially when somebody says, give me money and I'm going to give you knowledge, and they're not willing, and they don't do that. And that's why the channel members, they know that if they call me, I got them. They know they can call me. I'm going to help them out, make sure they squared away, all of that kind of stuff, because I know you're not getting that from other people. It's just that simple. So do y'all have any additional questions, concerns, observations, any of that? concerning this business or just in general, because I mean, and to go back and answer one of the questions talking about the work-life balance, the biggest thing that I have to do is pay attention to my family. I have to pay attention, not just by looking, but listening and seeing, okay, where you need me at. And then making sure that I can be there. Sometimes I have to be willing, and I am willing. Sometimes I have to not do some signings in order to be where they need me to be at, to get them to whatever it is they need done. What do you need? Okay, got you. And that's what I'm doing, not even just willing to do because it's already a part of me. That's what I do. So if I see my wife needs me to do something, okay, she calls me up, I will work it out. I was okay, let me figure out how to make this happen. And if I know and if she tells me ahead of time, I'm like, okay, I won't put anything on my calendar. And there's been times where she asked me to do something and I forgot to put what she wanted me to do on my calendar. Then I get booked for something. I've called and said, hey, I got a family thing. I can't do this order. And I've canceled it so I could take care of them. So the balance comes in you paying attention to your family. The balance comes in you planning and making sure you find a way to be there for your family. And then the family finds ways to be there for me. So we've learned to be there for each other and to allow the things that we need to have that are important. So I have friendships, but they're not more important than the family. So I like entertainment, but I don't need to look at every basketball game, every football game. I got to get work done. So for me, and one of the reasons why sometimes I'm up late is that after I make sure everybody is taken care of, then I'm like, okay, now let me work on my stuff. Just like after this here, I'm going to be printing my documents for tomorrow. Do I want to work tomorrow? No, I don't. But I got to because I got to make up for the time that we didn't before. And it's not even about when I went out of town. It was just the 4th of July, the time that it was in the middle of the week. It was like it just all of a sudden just wasn't no orders at all from about the 3rd through almost the 7th. So, I mean, nothing. So it got quiet. And I was like, okay, I said, I'm going to have to turn it up and everything. And I think this week alone, after tomorrow, I'm going to have 25 closings that I've done, And I'll be honest, do I always want to work like that? No. But as I shared with y'all, the money that I make this month don't fully come in for 2 months. That's how they paying us. So if I slack now, it's going to hurt me later. So that's what I got to work with, And even right now, the house inspections have been light. So that tells me a lot of people aren't applying for loans, which means there's going to be possibly a little bit of a slowdown come August, September. So I can't play around. I got to take as much as I can now. That's why I started kicking in with the delivery driving, doing that to make up for the house inspections. You see? So as I was saying, I think in Clubhouse, people don't have foresight. They're just in the business, but they're not looking to see the flow of the business and come and figuring out what's happening. That's why I gave y'all the link to the guy, Orlando Minor. He really talks about the real estate industry, and you will learn a lot. And, that's why I learned, I said, no, they ain't going to have a whole bunch of rate cuts this year. But everybody was like, oh, they rate cuts. Where the rate cuts at? They ain't had not one. And they still might not have the 2 that they're talking about that they want to do. They saying they are, but more than likely they may not have it. And if they do have it, it's not going to have the significant impact that people want it to have on the real estate market. It'll have an impact on other things, but not necessarily for the real estate market. And they already put out that it takes about 2 years for changes in the real estate market to fully take effect. And we're in that 2-year cycle of the interest rates being raised. And guess what? It can take 2 years for the interest rate that as they go down for you to see the full effect. So what do you got to do in the meantime is work what you can work, take what you can take to make the money, rather than sitting on your hind parts talking about what you won't do. And again, if you really look at the people who are fussing and complaining about the orders, the people who are talking about what they're not going to do, a lot of them got the money to take care of their life, and they don't really need the notary money. This is a question you got to ask them. So you mean to tell me, Federico or Janelle or whoever, so you're a full-time notary, and this is the main thing that you do to bring in money, and you won't go and do any orders unless it's $150. And with that business model that you have, you're able to take care of and pay all of your bills by doing that. You ain't got no food stamps. You ain't got no sugar mamas, no sugar daddies, no sugar aunts and uncles and grandparents that's bailing you out. You ain't got none of that. It's just you and the notary business, you and that stamp, and that's how you making your money. And you're not doing no work except for $150 each and every time, and you need $7,800 each month, and that's happening for you. If that's happening for you, show me the numbers. Prove to me that that's happening, because that's what you need to ask them. If they're bragging and saying, I'm not leaving my house unless I'm getting paid this, then show me that you are paying your bills off of that dollar amount each and every month. If you're unwilling to do that, then I don't want to hear nothing you got to say. I really, really don't. Because if it was true, and if it was something that you could stand on, as they say, T.I. son say, standing on business, standing 10 toes down, then you could show me. And there's a way you could show me without divulging certain personal information, bank accounts, and all of that. You can show me that here's what I got coming in. Here's the $7,800 that I got coming in, and here's the fees that I'm getting for that. You can show that. But nobody is, because nobody's doing it. Not off the notary. Oh, well, see what it is. I got this notary book that I did, and I got these notary purses, and I got these notary journals, and I got this training. Oh, that's how you making your $7,800. By maybe making people or convincing people to pay you so they can hear your voice talking about whatever. But you're not really making the money off of being a notary, whether doing apostilles, estate planning, any of that. You're not really making the money off of that. You're making the money from us spending money with you, and you're not even doing notary. And see, here's the crazy part. There's people out there that got training and mentor programs and Facebook groups. And you know how much they charging people? Around $30 to $60. The price that they say you should not accept for an order. Well, if that person, and they always talk about, your worth. So you mean your worth, your time and effort is worth $30, maybe $60 at the most, but you're telling me I shouldn't take $30 or $60 for a signing because I'm worth more than that. But yet you're saying your time and effort is worth, let's just split it in half, $45. So for $45 a month, I can have your time and effort. So that's what you feel. But yet you're not going to charge me $150 because I thought that's what you was worth when you was doing the notary stuff. Now you got all this so-called knowledge, and all of a sudden you want, oh, I'll just take 45 from you. Oh, what you're doing is working on volume. 45 times all them other people, you got the money you need, your $7,800. That's the game they play. So while you are passing up on the $65 order umpteen dozen times in order to make your $7,000, they're getting $45 out of you and everybody else so that they can get their $7,800. So that means right now, so I just did the numbers. That's 173 people. All right, that's 173 people. So $7,800 a month divided by 45. If they get 173 people paying them $45 a month Why do they need to do closings? Why? But that 7,800, if you did, you got to work then. Do 120. But we know that people are going to get orders of more. So if you're averaging about $85, you're talking about 90. You're talking about 91 orders a month. And see, here's the thing. Again, going back to what my wife was saying earlier. Many of you, if you're not in that position to do 90, okay, then you can't get there. Are you in a position to do 90 orders a month? Do you want to, like Clark was talking about? That right now, that'd be probably a little too much for him, but you can work your way up. And if I could get all the orders that come through, I will be at 100 orders a month. But I'm not. So I take what I can and I roll with it. That's all this is about. So what you got to stop doing is stop trying to be a part of the cool kids club. Stop trying to get on somebody's YouTube channel for their interviews, or get on the stage at the NNA, or get on the stage at a notary conference. Just go work the business first. And again, I don't think anybody should be trying to teach anything in this business unless they've been doing it solidly for at least 3 years. So they can see the whole up and down cycle. 3 years. What do you mean, what are you with the NNA? Not sure I understand that question. And if you're asking, do I have a problem? The only concern that I have with the NNA is that there was times, what is my opinion? My opinion is that they are a very good sales organization. And the people who are truly connected with them are people who got stuff to sell. When you look at the people, who are really promoted with them, they are people who are really good at selling stuff. That's the truth of the matter. They are really good at selling stuff. Now, do they have knowledge and information that can be beneficial and help? Yes. And I share that with y'all on this channel. If they got something good on there, I'm going to tell you about it. But their purpose is to sell stuff. And my biggest concern was when I had a problem and I called them and they helped me out. They told me the truth about what I could do what this person was asking me to do. And when I asked them, I said, well, can you tell them that? And they said, no, I can't talk to them. And I'm like, why? Well, you're paying for this service for us to talk to you. I'm like, okay, but the signing company that's telling me to do the thing that you're saying that I can't do, they require me to have your certification. So if they require me to have your certification, then to me, you should be willing and able to talk to them, because they're saying I can't be a part of their notary crew if I don't have your certification, which means they're supposed to respect what you say a notary should and shouldn't do with regards to loan closings or any notarization. And clearly they're not. So maybe you need to talk to them and they'll listen to you, because they're not listening to me. And they was like, no, we're not doing that. And I was like, okay, so I'm just out here on my own. And all they could say, well, just find some other companies to work with. Not if all of them are acting the same way. If all of them want me to backdate, if all of them want me to do things that is illegal, and the only person who can clearly articulate that it's illegal is the NNA, but you won't publicly tell them or privately tell them in this session here, then how is that helping me? Because now they're looking at me as a bad notary, and then they got the right to put negative comments about me in the portals in the back office, and they don't tell the truth of the fact that what I asked Griff to do was actually illegal. All they say is Griff is difficult and he won't work with us and he won't do the things that we want. He won't do his notary job that makes me look bad. So who's standing up for us with regards to that? And right now, from my understanding, it's not the NNA, and it's not these notary trainers who are on the stages there selling stuff. So that's where it's at. Their membership is good to have as a base. I call it cover your behind membership, because the E&O, you can use theirs, the 25 hours. Most people prefer 100,000. Their membership, if you want to roll out there, you can. You can. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep, she getting ready.
Have a good evening, everybody. Thank you again for watching.
Mm-hmm. So let me share with this here with you. Slide this down. All right, so real quick, y'all, pay attention. So here's okay. So I have the hotline membership, and with the hotline membership, when you go into your NNA account, you have access to a lot of different stuff here, and you have these here resources that you can look at, and this information is great. All of this information is great. One of my favorites is the notary certificates. So you can go in here and you can get notary certificate instead of buying the little pack. I mean, actually, you can buy the pack and then just scan it, do a good quality scan, and now you have, the stuff. But I just go and I get my, my state notary certificates right here. So if I need, I get them from here, save them to my computer, and I print them all day long. But they have a lot of good information in here that helps you understand. I like this here reference called the U.S. reference. It breaks down, it shows you the state laws for all the various different states. So this is very, very good, and it has information in here that most people, that a lot of trainers won't go over and talk about. So you look at your U.S. reference, and now you can actually learn some things as to what your state truly wants. Okay. And I like that. And like I said, when I went and did the one for Virginia, that's how I learned that Virginia notaries aren't allowed to collect closing funds. And it said, and give the state references and all of that. That's how I learned that in Maryland, you can do closings as long, and don't have to have a title license, a tip license, only if there's another person there who has a tip license and they're going to talk about the title insurance. If you're just there as the notary to witness the signatures, then you don't need a tip license. Although they do, basically all of them going to want you to have it, so that way they're not sending two people out. And I get that, but legally, per their Maryland state law, you can do a closing without a tip license as long as there's somebody else that's going to do the title insurance presentation. And nobody's getting title insurance on the sellers. So you can do a closing if I'm understanding the law right, if nobody is doing, if there's no title insurance, and I don't think the person who's selling is getting title insurance on a property that they're getting rid of, that they're selling. You see what I'm saying? So these are common sense things that you need to pay attention to, but they go into, state notary laws, all of that, so whatever state you go want, and boom, here's the code of Virginia for that. So from that perspective, it's very good. But I think they spend a lot of time just constantly trying to get notaries to buy stuff. And I think there are a lot of people out there who are like, ooh, yeah, if I get with the NNA, that will validate me. Being with the NNA will validate me so that I can sell more stuff. Oh, that's right. I had the camera. All right. Sorry about that. There we go. I had to get the camera straight. So that's my thing. So the conference is more so about just you buying more and more stuff. And you can buy all the stuff you want, but now the question becomes, are you going to implement it? So what I try to do on this channel, and I'm gonna get to your question in a second, Aisha, about the express about the databases. My goal is to find a way to help you move into actual application, you actually doing what you're supposed to be doing. There we go. It was bugging me. Camera was off a little bit. That's my getting the courage to actually go out there and do it. There's a lot of stuff, like my wife said, about fads and stuff. Oh, you got this and you got that. You got estate planning. You got the weed this. You got this. You got the apostille. Okay, cool. But what's holding you back? What's holding you back? No different than you come across somebody and they really, really like you. Well, why won't you go ahead on and date them? Why won't you go ahead? They proposing to you, but you won't accept. What's the problem? If you have to identify what it is that's holding you back. And that's where mentors and coaches are supposed to come in and help you to identify and address and deal with the things that are holding you back from moving forward in your business. What's holding you back? Is it something that you're currently dealing with, something in your past? Is there some kind of, I'll be honest with you, cognitive thing? Because like one lady shared with me, and I appreciate her sharing, she said she needs to read stuff 5 or 6 times before it starts clicking because of some cognitive things. Okay, got it. One lady shared with me that she has that when she gets overwhelmed and stressed, she shuts down. Okay, so now I'm seeing that there's these things going on out here. Is it that I would like to do it? I don't have cognitive issues. I got the courage and all this, that, and that, but my spouse, he won't help me. She or he won't help me. They won't support me. I need them to watch the kids, and they're like, they're worried about doing this and they're worried about doing that, and they won't support me like I need to. Those are things. So spending, in other words, in my opinion, and what most true business millionaires and billionaires will tell you to do, since we like to listen to them, you got to get that stuff straight. Because if you don't have that stuff straight, it's just going to stress you out even more, and it's going to make your family life a little hectic. So that's what you need to do. Now, let me go over to this, and I got to turn this fan off. It's getting too cold in here. Oh man, it's getting cold. Along with the air conditioning. Whew. So notary databases, they are good. Signing order SnapDocs, they are good because the signing companies that are using them, they are trying to find work for us. So notary databases are good. Paying for them, because if you want me to pay for it, then you need to show me some stats on notaries in my area getting work from your database. Because you got to have, because you get those emails, hey, there are notaries in your area making money. Show me the stats. Show me how many notaries are getting work in my area out of your database. Show me the companies that are using your database to do work in my area. I need to see that. If you can't, you'll see the moment you're asking me for money, the moment I need to see some data. And if you're not willing to show me the data, then you don't need my money. And I'm not going to give you any money. I'm not going to pay for any access to whoever or whatever if you can't show me the data. It's that simple. When you go to buy a house, you ask for certain information to prove to you that house is what I need to buy. When you buy a car, you ask for something. Whenever you're buying stuff, you ask for some details about it. And as we've seen online, many people are getting taken advantage of buying these cars sight unseen. They bought houses sight unseen, and they're running into problems, and they didn't ask questions. So notary databases are great. I just don't pay for those. Now, signing order, I pay for their extended coverage, and that works, but I'm not really paying to be there because you don't have to pay for that extended zip code coverage. And you said you said notary database. Never heard of Notary Lotus. Honestly, I have never heard of them. You don't need to know my location. I've never heard of them. If I have, I forgot about them. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't know anything about them. Okay, membership. Okay, nope, I ain't even messing with them. I'm sorry, I'm not messing with them because see, what I would want to know is who. Well, the only notary database, Notary Connects, Ebony Lock that's in my area. Her stuff is fine, but and technically you're paying for it with signingagent.com with the NNA. See, if I gotta pay for it like this, then I need to see some stats on it. I really do. I need to see some stats. I need to see some stats. Who, I need to see some stats. But the thing is, I get enough business from the ones that I'm with. Oh, so you said this company, their numbers disconnected. Again, for some of these people, this is about, and I don't know them, so Notary Lotus people don't get the number one website to find a notary anywhere. Okay, what is that based off of? Because you can't be number one over SnapDocs. There ain't no daggone way you number one over SnapDocs or signing or actually Notary Resume or the NNA. So how are you the number one? And they're not making people pay. They're not making people pay. I got to talk a little soft, so I'm gonna keep the wife up. They're not making people pay, but you're making people pay, and you're saying you're the number one. All right, let me 2, 3, 4. All right, let's see what we got here. Heh, heh, heh. Okay, she's talking about she's in Jacksonville. Are you in Jacksonville? And I got you Virginia Beach. Oh no, these are featured people for some reason. Okay, Glen Allen. That okay? So technically, 1, 2, 3. So it's showing 5 results, but it's only three people in my area, at least in Virginia Beach. That's not good. That's not good. That's not good. Norfolk. Okay, let me see how many people for Norfolk, Virginia. Same people. All right, he's in Suffolk. All right. Okay. Okay. Oh, you getting mixed up on here. Where the heck? All right, I'm trying to find see, I don't even go to this thing here. I don't even know how to find the little notary thing, how to search for notaries on here. I don't even know how. I think, yeah, that's right. They switched over to this thing called Notary Connects. But okay, whatever. Never mind. Nonetheless, how are you the number one and you only got 5 people and really 3 and actually 1 in Suffolk? So you see what I'm saying? I'm not paying for that. I'm not paying 5 people. You got 5 people listed, and one of them is out of Jacksonville, Florida. So one of them is out of Jacksonville, Florida. Seriously. Nah. You ain't getting my 40 some bucks. And I know the company might get mad at me and all that, but I'm sorry. I'm see now. Here's it. Okay. Now what you got to do is give those people a call. How is it coming along? Are you actually getting work from this website, this notary database, since they're the number one website to find a notary anywhere? Let me leave them alone. Let me shut that down because y'all know how I get. But the point that I'm making, okay, okay, got you. See, the owner is a team. This again, you what my goal is to help you to understand the whole scope of it. Not everybody is about being a notary. A person told me a year and a half ago, there are some people who don't want to be a notary. They just want to sell stuff to notaries. So with that being said, now you know that there are people. Yeah, that's it. Now there are people out here that really only want to sell stuff to notaries, period. And if that's the case, then you need to be aware that you might not get what you want out of them or what you expect, because you know what, that might be gone now, man, because it looks like or yeah, because I think they switched over to that Notary Connects thing. Um, yeah, man, they couldn't switching over to that Notary Connect. So I think that little thing is gone now. But that's where we're at now with all of this. So they got to come right and exact for me. And yes, you can be just an e-notary. It can be a little bit harder, to be honest with you. It can be a little bit harder, but you can. Oh, it was Notary Dash Public, man. It was Notary Dash Public. All right, I found it. You can be an e-notary only. That's a little bit more difficult, I think, depending on where you're at, to get people to send business your way, but it can be done. It can be done. So 23464, my area. Woohoo. All these notaries. All these notaries. 125 pages of people who are notaries in our area, in my area. But they the number one site for notaries. How you gonna be the number one site and you only got 5 people and really only 3 for my area? I don't get that. I don't get that. I don't get that. How are you going to be the number one? This is where the common sense comes in at. See, here I am. Here I am. My profile. And if y'all want to look at my profile, here you go. Feel free to take some stuff from there. And you see, like I got in here, averaging 70 a month. I got to update these numbers here and all of that. Remember, I put the video out today. Numbers do matter, and they know what numbers I got. So I put my numbers out there. I put them out there. But somebody asked another question. The lady is greedy. She does more selling. Right. That's what they want. That's what they're going to do. They're going to sell you courses, this, that, and the other. And it's like, when you see somebody, okay, are you really going to be able to help me be a notary? Just take my course and you'll know everything you need to know. I guarantee you I'm going to start getting some thumbs down on my videos, probably, because somebody going to be like, but I like her. And you're talking about, I don't know who the person is. But you look at it, you investigate it. Would I spend my money on to be a part of that? No. To me, SnapDocs is the #1 notary database. Now, to get orders out of SnapDocs, you really, really need to do your profile up, which is what I talk about. I talk about all the time. Your profile needs to communicate that you know what the heck you're doing. You saying that I took so-and-so's course doesn't mean you know what to do, because you just took a course. But you actually getting out there and doing the work and then showing them that you've done the work, and then letting them know that you've done this type of closing, that type of closing, you work. That shows that you've done the work, and that shows, oh, okay, you got some experience. You got something. Okay, I think we can work with you. That's what you want. And I approach this the way I would approach it in my life with stuff. We don't like going to people who just started out. When my wife started her cosmetology school, very few people wanted to come to her, because they're like, there's people that I don't want to be the first. Now, me, I'm a little different. I don't have a problem being the first, but I'm going to do my research and set my expectations accordingly. And I love, okay, here's where it's at. And we're good to go. But most people don't want to be the first. They want to come in after you've gotten established. They don't want to go through the hard knocks and ups and downs with you. They want to watch you do it, and then they want to come in and be like, okay, I see your little business got going. Okay. That's what they want. That's what they want. So people want to give you a chance, but they need to be convinced that you're worth giving a chance to. And you look at my profile, it's like, why wouldn't you give me a chance? And the only reason why you won't give me a chance is because somebody done said something negative to me in the back office of these platforms that I can't see and address. So how do I deal with that? I try to address it in my thing. And let me just go on and pull it up. Might as well pull it up. So one of the things that I have in here, where the heck did I have it? Right here. I adhere to all guidelines in the Virginia Handbook for Notaries. I adhere to the National Association Standard of Conduct. That right there will tell anybody, oh, well, he didn't do, okay, well, maybe he didn't do it because what you asked him to do was outside of the scope of these two guidelines. Because if you ask me to do something that violates my state law, you can talk negative about me all day long. I ain't doing it. And if anybody was to ask me, no, I don't. Matter of fact, case in point, somebody kicked me off of a closing because I wouldn't collect closing funds this week. They put me off of a closing because I wouldn't collect closing funds. And then they had the nerve, and they might be, but to me, it was like, oh, this order's been canceled. I'm like, there's no way this order's been canceled because the closing funds for this loan modification was over $8,000. And y'all wanted me to collect the $8,000 check and send to you, but I'm not legally allowed to do that. And then all of a sudden, I get an email saying we'll talk the title, and no sooner than before I've even finished reading that title, basically, oh, this order's been canceled. No, it hasn't. And I emailed the people back and said, okay, title wants me off of this order, because I wanted them to know that I know the order's not canceled. They don't want me on it. So that means they went and conned and talked to some other notary and convinced them to collect closing funds and to do something that they ain't supposed to they're not legally allowed to do. I'm like, okay, that's what you want to do. That's between y'all and y'all, but I'm gonna do what's right. And there are enough companies out here who will work with me for doing what's right. And the title companies, well, the signing companies, their hands are tied. The signing companies have an agreement that they're going to get notaries. And if the title company says, I want the notary to do this, the signing company is like, all I'm doing is just getting a notary. I don't know it, because that goes back to selling stuff to notaries without being a notary. I'm just a person who runs a signing company. I don't know notary law. However, to give y'all some hope, there are signing companies out here that you'll come across that understand notary law because they used to be notaries. And they will not allow you to go do stuff that's outside of the scope of what your state law says, even though they may not fully know it. And there's some that will call the NNA themselves to find out. So in Virginia, can a notary do this? And they will back you up in order to make sure this stuff done right, because they know if it's done illegal, that could cause them to get their E&O insurance hit. Guy told me, he said, look, I've been doing this for 10 years and I got a $10 million E&O policy. And guess what? I've never had to pay out of it because I make sure the notaries and I back them on doing stuff right. That's the kind of signing company I will work with all day, every day. Griff, would it be a good idea to help one member or two with their profile? I help members all the time with their profile. I have no problem. I will help you. Some members call me up. Matter of fact, I got to work with one of the guys, the new guy, Eric. I ain't forgot you, Eric. But people send me their stuff, and then I will review it and I will work with you and help you to communicate it. I won't necessarily like tell you what to say, but maybe I will suggest here's what you can say, and then let you communicate it. Because here's the beauty about a profile: you can always change it. You can always tweak it to be what you want it to be. You can be like, okay, I liked it. And then you think about it later on, that didn't sound right. Because see, I'm not the best with the English vocabulary. So what I tend to do is I will write stuff, and my wife is much better at the vocabulary than I am. I would just dump it all out and say, here's what I'm thinking. I will let her look it over, and I will let her wordsmith it. And she did that enough to where now I can write the profile without her wordsmithing it and still be able to communicate properly what I'm trying to say in my profile. That's my method. So I'm good at it. And if I feel that something might be off, I will still even if I think I got it, I still let her look at it and say, tell me what you think. And as you heard her say, she likes to read. So she will read, and I know I can count on her to tell me, and she know I'm not going to be offended. And she will be honest and say, okay, you need to say it this way, or you're being redundant over here, whatever the case may be. Got it. And then I go fix it. That's what I do. So yeah, if you're a channel member and you need help with it, that's not a problem. That's a problem at all. I'm going through hard knocks with my notary business. So when you say hard knocks, what is a hard knock for you? What is one or two hard knocks that you are going through, Ms. Jane? Because that's the thing. And see, it's at least good that you can identify that you're going through stuff. Now the question is, what's the plan to get over it? What's the plan? Not like just ignore, but to conquer it, and then make it no longer a hard knock, and learn from that and move your business forward to the next level. So that's what I'm doing with this YouTube channel. And many people are getting help. Many people are moving forward. Claude, who was up here earlier, he's a channel member. And I know that he wouldn't have been able to get to where he's at without somebody supporting him. In this case, the support happened to be from me, but it could have been from anybody. Anybody could have probably helped them out if they were sincere. And if you come across somebody like that and they sincerely help you out, guess what? You can move forward in that. You know what I'm saying? Let me show y'all this real quick. I showed this last week, but I want to show it again. Here it is. All right, let me share. And y'all listen to this real carefully. Nah, she ain't been reviewing. In the beginning, she did review them, Giant. She did. She would look him over and all that and stuff. That's what they tell me, hey, nah, you should have said it better this way or that way. And then there have been some times where she said, don't say any video where I've sort of like really gone off, I don't tell her because she will stop me. Sometimes I just want to get out there and be like, brr, but I've learned not to do that. So just listen to this gentleman here.
One person in your life who says, you got this, I believe in you, and you will find courage and energy to do things that you would not have had before. But more importantly, that person needs to also say, and if everything goes wrong, I will be there for you, and I will be there with you, and I will be in the mud with you, and has the ability to say, something's wrong, I'm worried about you. And I think burnout happens when you're attempting to do all of the things you see other people do and not realize that they have deep, meaningful relationships that you can't see. And you think falsely that you have to do it alone. And that's when burnout happens, because you don't, as an individual, have the energy. But in community and in relationship and in friendship, it's remarkable, including knowing when to just take a little break to recharge.
So there's information out here that people get it. They're like, here's what you need to know. And that's what's not being communicated to me effectively on a consistent basis in the notary business. What most people are doing in notary business, get that money, get that money, get that money. That's all they're concerned about. That's all they talk about. Get that money. Yeah, you need to get it. Ooh, you're 100. Just because you got a lot of money coming in don't mean you got a lot of happiness. I'm about you getting happy. Because if you can be happy with $50, you'll be happy with 80. You'll be happy with 200. Because here's my thought, and I've said this, and this is what's happened. This is what is happening now has happened. All those notaries who was all hyped up on the $200 and they didn't, and they never learned how to make money from a lower amount. When the dollar amounts went from the 125 to the 150 down to 125 down to 95 on average for closings, they didn't know how to handle it because they never learned how to work and make money at the lower amounts. They only came in and worked at the high end of the business. They never worked it at the low end. When you can work it at the low end, and as you move up to the high end, you'll be able to handle it and keep going and moving forward if it drops back lower. And when you don't know how to handle the lower end and your expectation in your life is that everything got to be on the high end, and when things shift, guess what? They get out the business and run somewhere else. Oh, I'm gonna start this and I'm gonna start that. I can't make no. I'm and then for some people, I would see that's what's crazy. They won't, and I said this earlier. They won't take orders of $45 or $60, but they want to take your money at $45, $60 a pop. That don't make sense to me. That you're telling me I can't go and do that kind of work at $65, but you can do the work at $65 all day long, that doesn't make a bit of sense to me. It don't make sense to me. You see what I'm saying? This is what's going on with them. It said hard knocks right now is investing in my and not enough funds because of a lack of job. Right? Rural area is a big thing. Okay. If you can get the NNA membership, cool. If you can't, don't worry about it. I mean, do the best you can, and all of that. Their loan signing course, you don't need to take a loan signing course. What you need to do is make sure you know how to notarize properly. Again, the loan signing course is going to get into, are you NNA certified? That's the first thing. Are you NNA certified? Because if you're talking about the loan signing course for the NNA certification, that's the question. Yeah, for that part, you need that. And those that notary assistant, I think all of that comes with it. So if you're talking about from that perspective, I get it. But still, all you need to make sure you know how to do is properly notarize. A lot of local companies that's in your area, they probably don't care about whether or not you are NNA certified. They just want to know, do you know how to do the job of a notary? So if you got that down pat, you'll be okay. Because what do they want? Yeah, the NNA is selling you this, but that customer there, the direct client that you potentially could get in your rural area or maybe a town or two over, they don't care about the NNA. They might not even know who they are. All they know is they need somebody to be a notary. And if you can do that effectively, then you're good. Okay, then you're good. So, and yeah, that's one of the things that a lot of people didn't consider. And again, going back to what the trainers are doing, they're not talking about the fact that, if you're in a rural area, so then that's when they say, well, be an e-notary, get online. Okay, well, you got to reach out to people outside of your area and get them to come to you. But when you got Proof and Notary Cam and all these other big boy e-notary platforms, marketing and stuff, and Cyberize it, all of them, they're going to hit the people, and they got the funds and the resources to go out there and divert people to them rather than to you. You see what I'm saying? Especially if they got a lot of notary work that needs to be done, you can only handle but so much. So it could be hard for you to compete against that. You see what I'm saying? But the big thing is that we all have to do what? Set a goal. What is the financial goal you have for yourself on a monthly basis? And then start with that. And just I'm going to tell you, the best feeling in the world is this. I have a goal of X amount of dollars. And guess what? I worked this month and I made that goal happen. I met that goal. Note what I said. I had a goal. We'll say $2,500, $2,500. And I worked enough to meet that goal. Now, whether it was a bunch of $80 signings, $10 notary stuff, it don't matter. Did you meet the goal? Yes, I did. Now, can I do that again next month? And again, like my wife said earlier, that's the question. And yes, to somebody who was talking about the notary, our stuff is now $10 here. Virginia is now $10 according to the new law. That is correct. And however, I will still do it for $5 to undercut another notary. Competition, baby. It's all about competition. Because those other notaries are gonna be like, well, I'm gonna charge them to $10. Somebody, if I can, no problem. I do it for $6. Okay, cool. Because right now it's about getting the money in. Because if $10 is beyond that person's ability, again, what did I always say about this here? What they did was notaries went and petitioned the government to allow them to charge the general public more money. But does the general public have the more money to pay you? because the state isn't paying. The state is not paying any of us $10. It's your client. It's the general public. And the general public may or may not like that. So it's not the state that said, we are paying you $10. They're saying we are allowing you to charge up to $10. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I think it's good. But you just got to understand the reality of it. It's not the state of Virginia saying we're paying notaries $10 for every time they notarize a signature and do a stamp. No, they're saying you have the right to charge up to $10. Don't have to be 10. It can be less than 10. Just like it was, you don't have to be 5. It can be less than 5. So you got to keep that in perspective with that. Again, just look at it from a common sense perspective. What does this really mean? So that's what I want. I just wanted to hop on and for a few minutes, over 2 hours now, and talk with y'all and just share some stuff with y'all because I want the best for y'all. And I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. And I know that there are some people who don't care for me, some people who just tolerate me, and that's fine. And I know some people wish I wouldn't be the way I am, and that's fine. I wish they wouldn't be the way they are. But I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing until somebody shows me that me doing what I'm doing is not effective, is not helpful, it doesn't, what I'm saying is incorrect. And again, nobody has ever told me that the stuff that I'm saying is wrong. When I say we shouldn't be trying to explain documents. Where does that say that in state law? It doesn't. So what does state law say? Make sure you can notarize the signatures properly and fill out that notarial certificate. Okay, so if I learn to do that, that's the start. Yeah, okay. Then let me learn that. And let me get good at that. Let me get great at that. And then I move forward into other things. So, but at the end of the day, people are going to do what makes them feel good. And not everything that makes you feel good is going to make you money. I got you, man. I got you. I'm gonna get you fritters. Oswald some fritters. I don't even know if he ate the fritter that I did give him. I don't know. I know. I don't know. Did you even eat it or did you share it with some kids or something? But fritters with ice cream do taste good, man. But thank y'all very much for tuning in. Me and the wife been wanting to get on with y'all for a while. I appreciate the questions and everything. Y'all are awesome. I'm serious. Y'all are completely and totally awesome. I'm gonna try to get my stuff done real quick. This print, I got 3 signings, 8 a.m., 10 a.m., and 12. And then I got a notary thing to do tomorrow at 2. So I'm gonna be on the grind as soon as I get up tomorrow morning. And I'm not going to bed until I get everything. No, I'm alive, not over. Well, I'm about to close it. Oh, that was from them there. Yeah, so I'm about to get all that stuff done so then I can hit it and all of that. So I appreciate y'all hitting the like button. The 29 likes, that is awesome. Make sure you share this. And those of you who are looking at this on the replay, hit the like button. I greatly appreciate it. Feel free to drop a comment in there and ask us any questions that, if you want to hear, ask your questions and then we'll swing back around and get those answered for you. But y'all have a good evening. It is midnight on the dot. Talk to y'all later. Peace.